Well, you know how the saying goes, never bring a Scabra to a McGovern fight. It's not a saying, I just made it up. But if you are looking for a masterclass on how to cover Trump as his second pop at fascism nears, I give you recently re-elected Massachusetts House member Jim McGovern.
What the hell is going on here? And their cabinet picks so far? I mean, these are like beyond insane. Someone who is credibly accused of having sex with an underage girl. Someone who sucks up to foreign dictators and has attracted major concern that they can't be trusted to protect America's secrets from our adversaries. I mean, seriously, it would be funny if it weren't so sad.
See, as we brace for the incoming president-elect, there are various directions that one can take. There's the tail between legs, let's pretend we didn't rightfully call him a fascist approach that MSNBC hosts Joe Scabra and Mika decided to take.
Over the past week, Joe and I have heard from so many people, from political leaders to regular citizens, deeply dismayed by several of President-elect Trump's cabinet selections. What we did agree on was to restart communications.
That's right, the once fierce critics of President-elect Donald Trump said that they went to Mar-a-Lago for a meeting with him to reopen lines of communication that would better serve their morning show viewers. And how did Trump respond to the olive branch that was offered? By dousing the thing in kerosene and publicly igniting it to humiliate them. Because of course he did. And there's this approach taken by House Democrat Jim McGovern, a staunch critic of Trump in the past. In fact, we all remember when he had his words stricken, when he simply tried to ensure that Trump's criminal record be inserted into the record on the House floor.
The way this place is being run is just so absurd. It is pathetic. We are facing a partial government shutdown by the end of next week. The extreme MAGA Freedom Caucus is once again eager to shut it down. Now, maybe they think a shutdown will help crash the economy, like Donald Trump has said he wants. The leader of the Republican Party spent the week praying for the economy to collapse because he thinks it will help him win the election in November. Imagine that. And that really illustrates the difference between Democrats and Republicans. We want America to succeed no matter who is in charge, because we love this country and we put people over politics. But Republicans led by Trump are cheering for America to fail and for everyone to suffer because they think it will help them politically. What a sick, twisted, messed up ideology. They are literally cheering for America to fail. And I guess they think that maybe if they shut down the government, that will help. I heard that the current speaker was on the telephone with Donald Trump, basically begging him to support the deal to fund the government. Because, you know, let's be honest, that's who runs this place. Donald Trump and the MAGA extremists who worship him.
But that pales in comparison to this, right? Because recently, across the board, there seems to be this tame, tentative approach from Democrats on how to speak on the former president and soon to be 47th president of the United States. But not Jim.
I mean, what the hell is going on here? And their cabinet picks so far? I mean, these are like beyond insane. Someone who is credibly accused of having sex with an underage girl. Someone who sucks up to foreign dictators and has attracted major concern that they can't be trusted to protect America's secrets from our adversaries. Someone who paid hush money to cover up a sexual assault accusation, you know, to lead our military. He's picked because Donald Trump likes him on Fox News. Someone who says that tap water turns kids gay. I mean, this is the dream team? This is the dream team? Really? I mean, seriously, it would be funny if it weren't so sad.
And this comes after Trump raised a few eyebrows with his recent nominees. Yes, any excuse to throw to this image of raised eyebrows. From anti-vax health nuts seen washing down a Big Mac with a Coke, to a man being investigated for sex crimes. I guess it is true what they say. The company you keep speaks volumes to the person you are.
The more you get to know Hexeth and Tulsi Gabbard, the more you're going to like her. The more you get to know Matt Gaetz, the less you're going to like him. I'm going to be really surprised if he can get confirmed.
Right. So would I, especially after how we blew up Kevin McCarthy. I had no plan B.
Even with these absurd decisions, right, there seems to be this trend spreading across both traditional media and far left-leaning media that the way to combat a second Trump presidency is to let let bygones be bygones? I mean, are we in the twilight zone here, folks? Or are we talking about the same thrice-married pussy grabber found liable of sexual assault, hell-bent on overthrowing the last election, you know, the one that he lost, who said he'd like to be a dictator on day one and encourage Putin to do whatever the hell he wants in Europe while cozying up to every other authoritarian figure in power? I think the way through is to find common ground with that dude, to brainwash him. I mean, come on, are we being real?
I think it was Justice Brandeis who once said that sunlight is the best disinfectant in a democracy. Transparency is always the best course of action, particularly when it relates to high-ranking government officials.
I mean, what the hell is going on here?
Of course, there needs to be a conversation on how to meet voters where they are and try to analyze where that was lost in this election. And I have warned to tread carefully when painting with a broad brush, hence why I won't take any enjoyment in seeing the demise of marginalized folk who voted for Trump, as others will fall victim and reap what they sowed.
If they let in hundreds or thousands of people who already have criminal records, if deporting them creates a mass deportation, I'm all for it.
But what if rounded up in all of that are people who work on a farm? They're doing the jobs that Americans don't want to do. Does that worry you?
That wouldn't be fair. Of course, you know, they need to make sure that they don't throw away, they don't kick out, they don't deport people that are family oriented.
To me, that's just not beneficial to anyone. But bowing to the man is exactly what he wants. The less resistance he faces, the easier it becomes to enact, not necessarily Project 2025, you know, that thing that he said he didn't read, but then liked parts of it and also has now surrounded himself again with authors from it.
I do want to say something, though, about Tom Homan.
Mm-hmm.
So for everyone who said Trump doesn't know what Project 2025 is, he just put a key contributor in charge of this. And Tom Homan was interviewed on 60 Minutes, and he was asked, is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families? And he said, of course there is. Families can be deported together. He also said that it didn't mean if someone was coming to be, quote unquote, rounded up and grandma was in the house and she's undocumented, that it didn't necessarily mean that grandma wouldn't be taken to. And you can say Donald Trump has a mandate till you're blue in the face. Taking grandma is not what people were voting for. They were voting for criminals to be kicked out of this country.
His Agenda 47, which is very much documented and already underway.
Let me ask you this. Do you like the idea of maybe giving a grace period where people that did not respect our laws, borders, sovereignty, that maybe you give them 2 or 3 months and you say you can self-report and we will help deport you. We will send you back to your home country. And if you do that, we'll put money in your pocket so you can rebuild your life, which would be a lot cheaper than paying for 3 nights at a 4-star hotel in New York and giving them a debit card. And in a year, after a year or 2 years or 3 years, whatever it is, you can then apply to come into the country legally. If you don't self-report, deport, then you will never be given an opportunity at citizenship. And when you leave, you will never be invited back. You will never be able to apply to come into the country. Sound like a good idea or no?
Criminals and gang members get no grace period. But while we're out prioritizing the public safety threats and national security threats, if you want to self-deport, you should self-deport because, again, we know who you are and we're going to come and find you. So if you want to self-deport, that's fine. But criminals and gang members, they get no favors from this administration. You came to this country legally, which is a crime. You committed crimes against the United States citizens, some heinous crimes. You get no grace period, so we're coming for you. But for those others, the non-criminals, if you want to self-deport, I'm all for it. Because when they self-report, they can put their orders, put everything in order, their family business, if they got homes or whatever, they can put all that in order and leave with their family altogether. It makes perfect sense for the ones that are not criminals and not priorities.
How are they going to get home? How do they get home?
See, this is not how you oppose Trump in 2025.
In finding common ground with Democrats on some of the most divisive issues. And for those asking why we would go speak to the president-elect during such fraught times, especially between us, I guess I would ask back, why wouldn't we? 5 years of political warfare has deeply divided Washington and the country. We have been as clear as we know how in expressing our deep concerns about President Trump's actions and words in the coarsening of public debate. But for nearly 80 million Americans, election denialism, public trials, and January 6th were not as important as the issues that moved them to send Donald Trump back to the White House with their vote. Joe and I realize it's time to do something different. And that starts with not only talking about Donald Trump, but also talking with him.
This is the dream team? Really?
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.